Herman Neubronner van der Tuuk was born in Malacca in 1824, son of Sefridius van der Tuuk, a Dutch lawyer from Groningen, and Louisa Neubronner, daughter of Johann Anton Neubronner. Her surname was added as a middle name to his. Sefridius van der Tuuk went to East India in 1820 and was acting member of the Council of Justice at Batavia in 1821, and later president of the Orphans' Chamber in Malacca. He married Louise Neubronner in 1823, and they had 4 children. In 1825, the Treaty of London took effect, and on Malacca becoming British, the van der Tuuk family moved to Surabaya in Java. At the age of about 12, van der Tuuk was sent to the Netherlands, where he attended grammar school, and in 1840, aged 16, took the entrance exam to Groningen University. There he read law, but his interests were in the field of linguistics, and in 1845 moved to Leiden, where he studied Oriental languages, Sanskrit, Arabic and Persian, under W.J. Uynbol. He was said to have a phenomenal memory and aptitude at languages, able to memorize a dictionary within a few days. Van der Tuuk learned several Indo-European, many Indonesian and other Austronesian languages, ranging from Malagasy to languages of Taiwan, Philippines, Chinese, and several Austroasiatic languages from the Southeast Asian mainland. The Netherlands Bible Society, founded in 1814, considered one of its tasks to make the Bible available in the vernaculars of the various ethnic groups of the Dutch colonies, and needed young scholars in those years to study the languages of the Dayak in Borneo, Kalimantan, Makassarese, and Buginese in southern Celebes, Sulawesi, and the Batak languages of the ethnic groups living in the highlands of northern Sumatra. Van der Tuuk was known to be an atheist with an abrasive personality, and despite not passing any exams, was thought to be a highly suitable candidate, recommended by several of his professors. The society, not looking for scholars to do missionary work, but instead compose dictionaries, grammars, collect and publish texts that would eventually lead to Bible translations, offered him that role in 1847, an opportunity which he seized. He did not leave the Netherlands before 1849, using that time to prepare for his mission. Learning from the little information that the Bible Society had gathered on the several Batak ethnic groups in their remote mountainous country, and reading the scarce publications on the subject. Thanks to his astonishing linguistic knowledge and brilliant instinct, he managed to produce before his departure a preliminary Batak glossary, and wrote 3 extensive accounts on the Malay, Javanese and Batak manuscripts he studied in London, one of which was published. In 1849, van der Tuuk set off to Batavia, where he arrived 3 months later. Shortly after he had visited his family in Surabaya, he became so seriously ill that he was not able to travel to Sumatra before January 1851. For reasons of safety in a region not controlled by the Dutch administration, van der Tuuk had to settle on the outskirts of the Batak lowlands, assigned first to Sibolga, on the western coast of North Sumatra, which he found unsuitable. He then moved to Barus, situated north along the same coast where the Batak language was not yet surpassed by Malay, and where Batak people from the highlands gathered for their trade. There he built a centre which would welcome and even provide shelter to many native speakers of Batak. Surrounded by many local people, van der Tuuk led an isolated life, undertaking 2 expeditions to the Batak highlands in 1852 and 1853, being the first Westerner to reach Lake Toba in 1853. In 1856, exhausted and ill, he was granted leave to return home to the Netherlands. Despite the adverse circumstances of his 6 years in Sumatra, van der Tuuk arrived in the Netherlands in 1857 with an invaluable collection of manuscripts, transcriptions of oral stories, thousands of pages of notes, an amazing knowledge of the Batak societies, and also of the political and economic situation of the region. His linguistic achievement, his perseverance and his endurance were much praised, although his progressive ideas defending the native population against prejudice were unwelcome. He produced a Toba Batak grammar, dictionary, and reader, with a separate volume that included a number of folk tales. He also published an outline of a grammar of the Malagasy language and translated into Toba Batak, 2 books of the Old Testament and the Gospels. In 1862, the Bible Society decided to send van der Tuuk to Bali, but before embarking he resumed his study of Javanese, only leaving the Netherlands in 1868, first embarking in Marseille after having made a detour via Rome and Florence. He would never see Europe again. In April 1870, van der Tuuk finally arrived in Singaraja, in northern Bali. In this still modest centre of the Dutch administration, where he did not feel at ease and free to fulfill his mission according to his ways. Moving quickly to the small village of Baratan, a few miles from Pabayan Buleleng, the harbour of Singaraja. There he lived in a simple house built of bamboo and wood, entirely submerged in native society, remaining critical of the colonial system and missionary work. His anti-religious feelings became more strident, and finally he resigned his contract with the Bible Society in 1873 to enter the service of the government as a civil servant for the study of Indonesian languages. He remained in Bali, making a few obligatory trips to Java, increasingly isolated from Dutch colonial society, working on his 4-volume Balinese Kawi Dutch dictionary that he never finished, and was published posthumously 3 years after his death. Van der Tuuk recovered many times from serious illness during his life, but the last illness at the age of 70 proved fatal, passing away in 1897 in the military hospital of Surabaya. Van der Tuuk is considered the founder of comparative Malay-Polynesian linguistics, bequeathing his rich collection of books and Oriental manuscripts to the University Library in Leiden.